Americans are absolutely livid at Donald Trump and his regime. And since the summer has ended, I think we've been seeing more and more people just say, enough is enough. I don't know if it's just the ending of summer has signified a rallying call going forward, but there's definitely democracy in the air and a despising what this Trump regime is doing. I'll just show you, though, what went down before the summer ended to remind you. In Wisconsin, you had a MAGA Republican Congress member, Brian Steele, getting booed as he tries to defend Trump's disastrous tariffs. Let's play it.
My main concern is the tariffs that are coming up. I would like to know what dire economic circumstances put Trump in a position of throwing tariffs on over 190 countries.
This really, at its core, needs to be an opportunity to make sure that other countries are treating the United States fairly. The United States...
We've seen how that's gone, especially as additional economic data has come in at the beginning of September, and really some of the worst economic data we've seen in a generation. From that same town hall in Wisconsin, you can see Brian Steele getting further dragged by his constituents. Let's play it.
Why are they wearing masks and why are they unidentified?
We'll probably agree to disagree on some of my answer here. But what I view is the moral hazard created by the Biden administration by allowing the U.S.-Mexico border to remain insecure. And so...
Let's bring in Wisconsin Senator Tammy Baldwin. It's great to see you again.
It's great to be with you.
I think the people in Wisconsin and across the country are pissed. Like, Trump's been saying, oh, the tariffs have no impact. Don't worry. We're in a golden age. And I think here we are after the summer and people are like, okay, this is ridiculous. Like, this is worse than the worst fears. What are you seeing, Senator?
Well, so what I'm hearing from Wisconsinites is they just honestly feel betrayed by Donald Trump because he ran on this idea of, I'm going to bring down your costs, your grocery costs, your energy costs, your healthcare costs. I'm going to just bring down all these costs on day one, as well as I think end two wars. But people are seeing their costs go up and they're seeing him take actions like the tariffs that are having major impacts on the cost of groceries, the cost of things. And then his signature piece of legislation is going to result in everyone's healthcare costs going up. And not just, I mean, people are going to lose healthcare because of the Medicaid policies and the tax credits that help people afford their private insurance through the Affordable Care Marketplace. But everyone's healthcare costs are going to go up because that's what happens, cost shifting, and they're going to see it really soon. So my trip through Wisconsin, actually multiple trips through Wisconsin during our August break, brought me to rural hospitals and free clinics and places that employ people who provide services to those on Medicaid who will lose their jobs if Medicaid dries up. I heard from them and the impact it's going to have on nearly 250,000 Wisconsinites who will lose their health insurance over the next few years. And those who, run clinics that they're not sure they're going to be able to keep the doors open.
I remember back in May, Donald Trump made a post on social media, effective immediately by way of this executive order. We are instituting a most favored nation provision where Americans will now be paying the lowest prescription drug price that the pharmaceutical company charges anywhere in the world. So if in Europe or India, whatever country it is, they charge 50 cents, then the drug in America would be 50 cents, which if you're an American, that's a great thing. When we're talking about people's healthcare and lives, and that promise is a matter of life or death, It's a pretty screwed up thing to lie about and to defraud people. So I'm not sure people were like, oh, he's lying about, because who lies about killing people? Donald Trump. He does. And here we are in September. The most favored nation concept is a total Trumpian fraud. Prices are going higher and people in Wisconsin are getting screwed. And I think now they're like, oh, wait, I'm getting screwed too? Yeah, you're getting screwed too. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you just limit the discussion to healthcare, he dangled that idea of most favored nation status for the, the idea isn't a bad one. Yeah. You just have to make it happen, right? Why should Americans pay more than any other country, citizens of any other country for prescription drugs? Well, in every other country, they have a nation that is negotiating lower prices for their citizens. Except in America, except for a very slim number of medications that Medicare now negotiates. But we could be expanding this greatly. I mean, his idea isn't horrible, right? It just isn't being implemented. It was words. It was a lie. It was betrayal. And then, of course, we're seeing it throughout healthcare with all of these other things, that he promised would be better. And, oh, no, don't worry about Medicaid. We're just cutting fraud, waste, and abuse and throwing off people who may not be documented citizens. That is not what they're doing in that signature piece of legislation that Trump put forward. It is a massive attack, almost $1 trillion out of Medicaid over the next decade, that is going to throw people who are eligible for Medicaid off of it. And we're gonna see a lot of consequences with regard to health costs.
And their approach to everything is when Americans, Wisconsinites, people in other states are experiencing these things. Like, we know groceries are up. If you go to a grocery store and you're living, you know things are less affordable. You know because you go out into the world. And then he goes, I've solved inflation. We're actually in a golden age. Healthcare costs have plummeted. We're doing amazing. And we objectively aren't. So then he goes, let's fire all of the data people because I don't like the data. So let's get rid of the data people. And that's their approach to everything. And then in the White House, they open up Club Rose Garden, an elite club for Republican cabals to spend our taxpayer dollars like partying in the area where the Rose Garden. I'm just thinking about that image of Club Rose Garden and the people of Wisconsin who are living paycheck to paycheck, who were made all of these promises, who now feel very nervous.
Yeah. The, ways in which Donald Trump has enriched himself through the normalization of corruption, frankly, meme coins and, multi-million-dollar tickets to dinners with him. It's just grotesque. When I think of all the people that I represent who are just trying to make ends meet and who know, they used to be able to put a little bit in savings and feel like they were getting a little bit ahead. And now it feels just the opposite, that there's not enough to make it through the month before the next paycheck comes. And I think, as I said in the outset, people feel really betrayed because I will give Trump credit during the election. He diagnosed the problem. People were upset with the cost of things. And he promised solutions, but now that they've seen his actions contribute to the matters getting much worse.
So what can we do? There's legislation you're championing to extend ACA premium tax credit. I mean, how do we call the bluff and say, here's what we're doing, here's what they're voting against? If they truly wanted to make prescription drug prices cheaper, here's what they would do, and I'll prove to you this is what they're not doing.
Yeah. Well, let's start by just acknowledging fact here. Republicans have the presidency, they have the Senate, and they have the House. So we have to find places where we have leverage. And there's a moment like that coming up. Because as you know, in the Senate, for some legislation, you need a supermajority. You need 60 votes, which means Republicans have to work with Democrats to get certain things done. And we have a moment like that coming up. And I think we're going to see one of two scenarios. We're going to see the potential for Republicans and the president saying it's our way or the highway, take it or leave it. And, you know, we have some things that we need to get done. The other path is that they agree to reverse some of the harm that has been done in Trump's signature budget bill, harm to Medicaid, that they agree to extend the premium tax credits that allow people to be able to afford to pay for their health insurance, that they work with us on measures that will seriously bring down the cost of prescription drugs. And not only that, but it's not enough to achieve those goals. In addition, we have to curtail Trump's lawlessness, because we can't, get an agreement, a bipartisan agreement to do these things that are really important that we need to do, and have Trump just the next day undo them unilaterally. It has to have the safeguards that say Congress acts, Congress creates the budget for the agencies. You have to implement and administer what Congress passes. And so those are the two paths, but we will have some leverage at that moment.
You know, there's a lot of things that concern me, but as I think about that RFK Jr. testimony, and I saw Republican senators, physicians, Cassidy, Barroso, others, were pushing back, saying, you're killing my constituents. This is what you're doing is so dangerous. So on the one hand, I'm like, okay, well, we've got some Republican senators who are physicians saying that you're killing my constituents. We're pretty, in terms of things the health secretary can be doing, killing my constituents probably be pretty bad, pretty bad thing to say. And he is, I mean, with all of his actions at the CDC and the vaccination board, but then they get interviewed outside, and I saw whether it was Barroso, whether it was Cassidy. So do you have no confidence in what Trump's doing? We got to trust Trump. We got to trust. I'm like, you got to trust? What do you mean? Well, what did I just see? What are you talking about? That makes no sense. So I want to leave you with your observations there, being colleagues with these people who are physicians, who know that he's killing people, but then don't get to the next step of saying, I'm a freaking senator. Like, that's a pretty big deal. Like you're a senator of the United States, like not a small job, like one of the biggest, if not the, so like, why not stand up to the guy? Like, why give all of your agency to this guy who's telling us that he didn't sign the Epstein birthday book when it's his signature? Like, why are we giving agency to crazy people? Why are smart people seemingly doing that?
Right. Well, we started by talking about how my constituents feel that Trump betrayed them. He ran on one thing and he's doing just the opposite. But I think my Republican colleagues, especially the doctors that you were identifying, it's Dr. and Senator Cassidy. Barroso is a doctor as well as a senator. And they, I believe, in fact, Cassidy recited the commitments he got from RFK Jr. as a condition of becoming a yes vote to confirm his nomination. I remember as clear as, yesterday, we were in committee and he went through the various commitments that RFK Jr. made to him that would lead to his voting yes on his confirmation. Kennedy has broken every single one of those commitments in full view. So even if my colleagues won't stand up to President Trump, they should at least be standing up to RFK Jr. and calling on him to resign or calling on the president to fire him.
Senator Tammy Baldwin, and before we go, anything else you want to say to our 6 million subscribers that I missed?
Oh my goodness. We could talk for the rest of the day. Just keep up the fight. We have to keep up the fight.
Senator Tammy Baldwin from Wisconsin. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers.
The truth is more important than ever. Check out our new Truth Over Lies collection at store.MeidasTouch.com. All 100% USA union made.